call our workshop to order and try to get started. Got several things we want to discuss. Hopefully we'll get through today on time. It may be that we'll have to brief on some of these, but we'll basically we'll send them on down.
Pull that out, you'll have to. I thought everybody had signed.
We'll send them on down.
We can finish that later.
Okay. On Monday night, now this will stay on the agenda, right? The Cobbin Circle matter.
Yes, as far as I know, I haven't spoken with Scott. Make sure that he's ready for it.
Okay.
But yes, it's supposed to be on.
We've been trying to address the matter of the Cobbin Circle closure. It'll be Cobbin Road after Monday night, we think. And it's been a full circle where you go all the way around, but Mr. Cobbin's got some issues that he's brought up with us that are legitimate, and we maintained his road about last summer. But I've asked him to reimburse the city for 50% of our material expense that we went through out there. Mike's calculated that. He's agreed to pay back about $2,950 on the materials that we laid on the circle. And we're going to ask him to do that, and he's already agreed to do it. But this will accommodate some things issues that's plaguing him out there, and there's no objection to in the neighborhood.
Is he on both sides of the street?
He and his cousins that he has signed letters from owns all the streets. There's a road that goes on past Cobbin Circle to Loretta Watson's property, and Loretta also has given us a letter of consent to close the circle. No one will be deprived of having a road. They just won't have two entrances to that circle. But everybody will still have a road that will access the property.
So is Monday night going to be the public hearing? Is it already run in the newspaper?
That's what we're hoping that Scott's got covered for us.
Yes.
We
He already ran it in the newspaper?
He
If
asked
he
us.
has, we'll have the public notice hearing for that,
Okay.
and CIS as well.
He asked us to wait till the 18th meeting to cover both the Cobbin Circle matter and the CIS rezoning. And in addition to Cobbin Circle closure matter, Monday night we'll have the CIS rezoning on the agenda also, and that's to allow them to build a new work office beside the fight law offices down here.
Since Marla's gone, who is the zoning enforcement officer?
That would be Sheila Ferdina. And she's working pretty hard at that too. We've had her pretty busy. Another item that'll come up on this agenda will be appointing Angela Owen as our official election official for the city. Sometimes the mayor does that, but since I'll be in the upcoming election, I can't serve and don't need to serve as the election official. So I'll be appointing her Monday night as an official act from the city. The third item that we want to talk about today is a separation of the sanitation and street departments. We have our street superintendent, Mike Johnson, and our former street superintendent, with us today, Mr. Kevin Walker, and we're going to hear from these gentlemen on the merits of having a separate sanitation and street department, and kind of the reasoning behind this kind of thinking. And we're gonna let Mike address us at this time, and then we'll hear from Kevin if he has additional remarks he'd like to make.
Yeah, the reason we're wanting to separate the two departments, over the last few years, I guess the population of Hamilton has grown to the point to where, we're having more and more requests on other things other than street or sanitation. We get numerous requests constantly about, you know, brush pickup, garbage collection, and I think it'd be feasible for the city, in the best interest of the city, to completely separate the two departments, so that one person handle everything that's pertaining to the street side, and one person, focused on the sanitation thing. With the new garbage truck, we've got coming and cans the next few months. Once we get that truck, it'll be a pretty big learning curve, a pretty big undertaking to implement the new garbage collection system. And one person, or I can't, but I won't have the time to devote fully to one side or the other. And I'd like to be able to, you know, commit fully to the sanitation side and have Kevin take over the street side. He's probably knows more about the street side than anybody down there. He's been the street superintendent before. And it gives me an opportunity to focus on the sanitation side. And that's a pretty big undertaking we've got coming up here in the next month or two, really, couple 3 months. And when I say separate, I mean, right now, you got one person that's over two departments, sanitation and street, which is the only department in the city that one person handles two different departments.
Are we gonna have to hire another person?
We don't anticipate having to hire anybody else, no. The only.
I don't believe there's enough job there for two people to pay what we'd have to pay to get two good
No,
people.
we're not
you know.
anticipating having to hire anyone else. We just wanna move Kevin into the street superintendent position, and maybe in the.
Gonna use what you've got.
We're gonna use the personnel we got.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, you know, and I'm not saying this because it's me, but I'm one person, I'm handling two different departments, and I'm one of the least paid supervisors you got.
Rodney's got 3 departments.
Well,
Just throwing that out there, and I don't know that he makes any more than you, so,
he might, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
so.
But, how many employees has he got? And how many miles does he cover?
He's got, yeah, I was gonna start this. But
But they're
anyway,
stationary.
yeah, are
Two
you,
of them stationary.
are you proposing 2 department heads, or?
I am.
Okay, but, and you're proposing Kevin to be the,
Well, he's the logical choice,
Right.
I think.
but
Who?
you're willing to accept
Kevin
that
Walker here.
Oh.
at your current rate of pay? I think that's what Gene's getting around to, is there gonna be a pay increase?
I would think so. I mean, I wouldn't do it for the same rate of pay.
Was that what you were asking, if there was gonna be a
Yeah,
pay
how
increase?
much more is gonna
There's not a lot of difference in his pay and my pay, to be quite honest with you. So it would be a minimum amount.
But y'all are gonna have one department fees. Here he says, my understanding, that's what I've heard now, is 3 different departments.
Well,
Williams,
let's not look at what we cover, let's look at what we actually cover.
what you had to put up with.
Exactly, and how much ground we cover.
Yeah. Well, still, I don't know these things you're telling me, so
Right.
I just heard,
I wouldn't
when this
recommend
came
it if
up,
I didn't think it was the best for the
yeah.
city.
Oh, I know
In
you,
the
I know
long
you.
run,
Yeah.
you're better off to do it this way.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I understand you're doing it for the betterment, and you know it is. But still, when you brought up that he had 3 departments, then that got back to where, how much is, he gonna be satisfied by himself over with one?
I understand that, but, it's.
There's just such a broad variety of things that we do down there, it's hard for one man to oversee all of it.
How many people will stay in the sanitation side?
Well, we'll have, right now, there's 6 that drive his garbage truck, and we're gonna continue doing the grass cutting, so there's 1 there. So it'd be 6 or 7, possibly 8 people, counting 8. And there's, on the street side, there's, 5 on the street side.
Counting you or,
Counting me.
okay. And if you're cutting the grass, y'all are just gonna be fixing the streets?
I've got a list here of how we've got everything broke down.
Okay.
This is all the things, most everything, I'm sure there's things that we don't have on here that we do. But we got the garbage trucks that run, we got brush and leaf pickup, patching roads, doing all the mowing around the city, bush hogging, all the right of ways, 300 something, maybe streets or something like that. Limb cutting, ditching shoulders, clipping, paving, picking up paper, cleaning the curbs, spraying, Christmas lights, banners, gravel hauling, fixing driveways, cover replacing, dumpsters. Wednesdays and Fridays, we have to pick up all them, we have to replace all the street signs and work, festivals and parades and all that kind of stuff. We get called out during the storms. I mean, it's one thing.
That's what you have to
Going back
do.
to the water department, and I'm not putting them down
Yeah.
whatsoever, but if it ain't a water leak or a sewer leak, they're never called on to do anything other than those 2 things.
And all of that,
Anything that comes up within the city, the street department or the sanitation department gets called on to do it.
That's
And
what
the
you
Same
do.
thing with the fire department and the police department.
well, listen.
They handle one thing, and everything else in the city is under our,
Are you saying that's what you've been having to do now by in
Yes.
your department?
Absolutely.
Well, I'll say I'll vote 100% separated.
So, do you have that list separated out?
I do.
Like, okay, so you're gonna give us a copy of that?
I can't, I won't give you this copy. I'll
No.
Yeah,
give you-
you need it separated.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I know you do. If you have to do all of that,
Well, that's why there hadn't been a supervisor stay there. Mike's probably been the longest one, you know, we had Darrell Ray, he might, maybe 2 years, and then Jeffy Burleson done it for 6, and then I done it for 4, and I give it up to Mike, and now he's, you know, it's
well,
just.
that's too much. I'll agree with you, Mike.
Well, I mean, I hope y'all can see our point.
Yeah, I said that. Personally, I said 100%. It should have been done a long time ago.
Well, it probably should be. Yeah.
We just think we could focus on maybe making the roads better, you know, if it was done like we're talking about. And, you know, everything else would just operate better, because you could concentrate more on doing this job better versus having to do so many different things, you know, it just gets overwhelming.
I understand myself.
If you've got 2 or 3 projects going around, and you got every how many miles that we have to cover, it's hard to be at all those different places and make sure things go
Yeah, Hamilton.
like they should.
Well, you got a lot of mileage in the city of Hamilton.
There is.
Lots of mileage.
But I would make, I mean, I'll just state like I see it. I think, you know, Kevin ought to be paid just like, if we do this, Kevin ought to be paid just like I would be paid. Or Rodney or any other, but, there's a pretty big discrepancy in pay as far as supervisors go.
Tell them what's happened since the people are home with their children at home, and they've been staying in place. Tell them what's happened to our garbage.
Our garbage is 15 to 18 tons a day. It's really junk.
When people were at work and the kids at school, it's running 8 to 9 tons a day. Now it's running up to 18 tons a day. It's doubled what they're having to do every day
Yeah.
to keep it cleaned up because everybody's at home making garbage. And
This, I brought y'all these tickets before. This is things that we've done, tickets that we've done since the 1st of February. On leaf pickup, brush pickup, picking up junk, working on people's driveways, hauling gravel, hauling slag, spreading slag on people's driveways. This is not things that we normally consider street things or sanitation things. This is extra stuff that we do on
Yeah,
top of.
that's not even counting the potholes or the roads that we've cut back on the limbs and stuff that we do without people calling in. That's just the stuff that people's called in wanting,
the city gives a lot of service thanks to you guys.
And we want to continue to provide that, but we also want to be able to maintain the city stuff too.
Well, you have to, we need to also look at if y'all tour over departments now, he's going over a department, and I'm sure he's not making near what y'all have been making.
Well, he's making close to what I made.
Is it? Well, anyway, we need to look at giving him a raise anyway, if he's gonna be over a department and responsible for it.
Absolutely.
And we need to look at that. I think all of us would agree, we need to look at that, because we're gonna expect him to do the job, and to do the job, he needs to be paid like everybody else.
We just both agree that if it was to happen, and even in the future, it would be better for the whole city,
Oh, yeah, you can get the job done better. You've
Yeah.
got too much to look over if you,
You know,
but I didn't know all this was
instead
together.
of having to oversee, well, we got 14 people, 14, 15 people, it would be
About
maybe
selling.
half that you could oversee and just, just do a better job. Y'all know what I'm trying to say.
I can explain I can go over this list if you want to hear how we thinking about dividing everything up where the sanitation.
Let's go ahead and cover that today. We're gonna consider all of this, guys. We're not gonna vote on this, of course. We're hearing you out today. At some point, we'll make a move on this and decide whether to do it or not to do it. But we need to hear it more about it. So go ahead and tell us kind of what duties
First
you'll
off,
be keeping and what duties Kevin will be assuming.
This is the things that the street department will handle this.
That'll be me.
That'd be Kevin, yeah. He'll handle all the patching, the bush hogging off of all the right of ways, cutting back all the right of ways, trimming limbs, doing all the ditching, clipping all the shoulders on the roads, of course the paving. He'll do all the hauling the gravel, working on all the driveways, and replacing all the covers that need to be replaced, even on drive. We have a lot of people that want to do the driveway, we have to do that too. And basically, anything else that pertains to the highway. As far as the sanitation side, we'll continue to pick up the garbage. We'll do the brush hauling and the leaf pickup. We'll do all the mowing, all the city properties. Keep the paper, trying to keep the paper picked up. Doing all the spraying around the curves. We spray herbicide, sidewalks and that kind of stuff too. We'll do all the Christmas lights, the banners. We'll have to do the dumpsters, and we'll have to run an extra garbage truck. We may have to run 2 trucks anyway. Garbage continues to go like it is now, but we planned on running one of our old trucks on Wednesdays to empty all the dumpsters around town. And projects, we won't be able to use our automated truck here in the projects because of the layout there. Street signs, red lights, we'll do all that, and we'll work the festivals and the parades, those kind of things. So we got it divided out pretty equally.
Sounds like it.
On Wednesdays and Fridays.
Yeah. So,
Is this gonna create a situation where y'all have to have a mutual agreement on equipment, or are you gonna have to have some additional pieces of equipment in order?
well, you know, some things we'll probably be able to share if need be. For the time, we'll be at the same location. If I feel comfortable that if I need to use the backhoe or something like that,
We're used to that, cause we try to plan where we don't have to have the backhoe for a project, cause it's needed, you know, down there at the dumpster to keep it mashed down on Wednesdays and Fridays, so.
I'd want y'all to stay cordial on the equipment where one supervisor wouldn't say, that's mine, you can't use it, that kind of thing.
Nah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
We wouldn't want any of that to develop because of this division.
So where's Gus gonna fit in all this? As the mechanic, is he
well,
just
he's under,
gonna?
right now, he's paid, through the street department budget, but he would still, like anything else, he has to maintain garbage trucks, street equipment, police cars, maintains all the, city's equipment anyway. Are you asking whose supervision he'd be under? Is that what you're?
Mhm.
I guess he's under the mayor's supervision anyway, isn't he?
No,
He's not? Who's,
he's under my supervision.
Okay. all right.
He's even asked me that if we did do this, that if he was called up on mechanic and if he could help us work on the roads, and I was like, that'd be fine with me, it's, you know, if that was okay with everybody else.
He helps do other stuff too. He's really rides the garbage truck we need to. Which help install culverts, such as that anyway.
Well, you're used to doing it all anyway, right?
Well, I don't do a lot of it. I do some of it.
Yeah, but I'm talking about then over that, all of it, haven't you?
Yes.
Well, yeah, that's what I meant.
It's, you know, it's just a lot for one person to try to oversee.
I'm sure it is. I wouldn't want the job.
Let's go ahead, Mike, since I won't give Rodney enough time to discuss the items on his agenda today too, but let's go ahead and talk about the event that leads up to us getting the garbage truck and what that's gonna entail. Let's, if there's no other discussion at this time on the department matter, let's talk about the truck next.
Okay.
And then if we have some time and everybody's thought of another question or two before we leave this room, we'll come back to you on the department
Okay.
matter.
Uh,
Stand up when you talk, cause
Sure.
I don't hear very well.
There's a possibility, and I think we can, if we call for it now, that we can go ahead and get that garbage truck. They've got one ordered, basically the same truck that we wanted. And it's being put together now, I guess, from Ingram Equipment. And I think they're supposed to deliver it to Ingram on July the 8th. So possibly we could go ahead and put our name on that truck, and we'll need to go ahead and place orders for our garbage cans now. If you recall, we planned on furnishing each person that pays the water bill a garbage can, and that's included on our quote price. And the company that manufactures the garbage cans would distribute them for us. I'm still undecided exactly if that's the way I wanna go as far as, letting the people know how and where the garbage cans need to be placed on the streets. It's gonna be a pretty big learning curve to teach people, seems to be, to teach people that the garbage can's gotta be in a certain place on a certain side of the road.
Turn a certain
It's
way.
gotta be turned a certain way, and all that stuff's gotta be handled. That's one of the reasons I'm trying to get the two departments separated. But anyway, possibly if we could get the truck in July, it's probably gonna be July or August before we get all the cans in stock here and delivered in place. But it'd give us a week or two, maybe even a month, to learn how to operate the truck before we actually start trying to pick up the routes. The routes will have to be all have to be changed in order to make it work efficiently. So the routes will have to be changed. All the, your garbage day is on Monday now, it may be on Wednesday, and we change all the routes. So all that stuff's gotta be worked out. But anyway, hopefully by August or September, maybe October, we might be ready to implement the new garbage truck system and move forward there.
And how much was this gonna cost?
It's in the budget. Matter of fact, it's, the new quote is $16,000 cheaper than the quote we got last year. And because the petroleum prices have gone down, so the cost of the cans, so we're saving several dollars just on the cans. So we've got a year model truck for less money.
We've hobbled our other trucks through some pretty rough times, haven't we?
Yes, yeah. We're spending a lot of money on the garbage trucks right now, trying to keep them going.
Would you think on a normal time that we could pick up 2/3 of our route with the one arm and a third with the, when it's a normal time? I know
Under
you're,
normal times, so we were averaging, last year around eight tons a day. But now we're, and that included the housing projects. So take those out, and I was anticipating being able to get all the garbage on that one truck. But I'm not so sure now, but if things go back to like they were, we'll be able to get it all on one truck, with the exception of running one of the older trucks on Wednesday to get the projects. So, if things remain the same, we won't be able to run just one truck. We'll have to run two trucks at least 2 or 3 days a week, probably.
and
But
that,
that's still gonna free up 2 people, that can.
so you think possibly in July we could actually take delivery on a one-arm
If
truck?
what the representative told me, they're expecting that truck, on the quote, July the 8th.
If we don't get that truck, and if we don't get that truck and place an order, when could we expect it to be
I
in?
think you said 90 days if they don't have one, didn't have one in stock. And it's a Freightliner truck with Cummins engine and Allison. Transmission exterior, I guess.
What were the 3 chassis that they mainly,
Kenworth, and Freightliner were the only two.
there's 2,
Yeah, there's other,
Kenworth's a little more expensive, right?
it was,
Yeah.
yes. And the Freightliner has a little sharper turning radius in it, and the cab's a little bit bigger, and, this is that, but I've got new specs and new quotes and all that stuff, so.
Will the rep come back and talk to us again?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay,
When they deliver the truck, he'll come with the truck and go over all the
I'd
bells
like,
and whistles with the truck.
I'd like for us to, if we're gonna do financing on the truck and those annual payments, I'd like for him to come back and explain what they've got to offer to us in the way of financing, if we don't work out local financing
Yeah,
for the truck.
I think they'll do a deal with us, through one of their,
He said did he say 5 annual payments?
annual payments,
And-
and arrears,
And the first payment would be a year from the day we
take possession of the truck.
take possession, okay.
So we'll get a year's worth of garbage collection and
Yeah.
use out of the truck before we ever make a payment.
If we go ahead and, give you authority through one of our council meetings, how soon do we to order or take that delivery
I think
on?
if I told him tomorrow to put our name on it, we'd be set. And
Oh.
probably, if they get the truck on July the 8th, then I would think within a week from there, we can take possession of the truck.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions of Mike about the new garbage truck and the cans? How much less was the quote on the cans?
16, well, the total quote, which included the truck, the cans, and the can manufacturer to distribute the cans for us, which meant them take them to each resident.
Come down by about 16,000.
$16,000 savings.
Okay.
How much was the whole quote for the whole thing?
I believe it was 360 something.
What?
360,000, give or take.
Yeah, 360,000.
I think.
Yeah.
That's 2,200 and some odd, new cans, flip cans,
Yeah, I think it's 2,300 cans.
2,300, okay. And that pretty well gives every customer a new qualifying can to pick up their garbage in.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
And we won't,
I mean, we're gonna have, we're gonna have to do some, changes about how we pick up garbage. They'll for sure have to follow some pretty good rules, in order for us to pick up the garbage. It's gonna be a lot different than it is now.
What if that one can don't hold it?
Our plan is if one can don't hold it, then they can purchase another can and pay an additional fee for that can. It's a 95-gallon garbage can. I think the quote or the statement that Will told us was the average household made 35 pounds of garbage a week. So they should easily go 2 weeks without having to change out the can. That's not
What-
the case now, because we get pickup loads at a time. So, I'm a firm believer that, we get a certain amount to pick up garbage, whether it's a sack full or a pickup load full. And
Are the customers-
$17 is pretty cheap for a dump truck load of garbage, and, we're paying right at $42 or $43 a ton to get rid of it. If you've got that much garbage, it already costs you a little bit more, the way I see it.
Are the customers gonna have to pay for the garbage cans? They're gonna buy them?
No, the garbage cans will belong to the city, and we'll furnish each resident that pays a water bill a can, which, again, is ours, but it'll stay with that property there. If a resident moves out or something, they'll have to turn the can in, and we'll redistribute it when somebody else moves into that place.
we probably need to stencil our name on the cans.
Yeah, they'll have them on city accounts.
Yeah.
Our plan is to use a maroon can, which is differentiated from our green cans that we've got now. They'll be required to put the garbage in the maroon can. If it's not in it, it can get picked up. If they've got a maroon can and a green can there, we'll pick up the maroon can and make note that there was two cans there. We didn't pick up the one because they're not paying the extra fee to have it picked up. If you don't do it that way, then, and stick to it, then you might as well not do it.
Yeah. It won't work with that one-arm
That's right.
machine, that
We'll be
one-arm
back
truck.
But
Oh.
we'll be doing same thing we're doing now, 9 months down the road. And every place else that this has been implemented, there's been a learning curve. It's gonna take a while, but after that period of time goes by and they get used to doing it a certain way, then it works out fine.
When we move forward, we can't revert back. We've
That's
got to
exactly right.
stick to the plan.
Yes, sir.
I've got a question. On the second can, if somebody pays for a second can, does it belong to them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you differentiate that from the one that's supplied by the city? Will you be doing the burning the name on it, or will it come
Or
already
we can
already
do it.
marked?
We haven't got that far along
Okay.
yet, but there's,
Just,
we'll work
just
something out
clarifying
like
for
that. Yeah.
Okay.
We may even, if they want to use their green can,
Okay.
we may put a sticker on their green can to notify we need to pick this one up too. We'll have to work those things out.
Fine tuning is what we call
So the
that.
green can be picked up.
It will pick, yeah, the truck will pick those up. Basically the same can,
So that's how big the green can is.
95 gallons,
Okay.
300 and something pounds. That is what it's stamped on the top of it. I would recommend putting 300 pounds in it. That's what happens to a lot of them. They,
Fill it up with beer cans, it won't weigh that much.
that's right. Anything else?
I want you to come and get this large item pickup notification. This has just been posted on our website by Mr. John Boyd. And I want you to go over that and, just stay there at the podium and go over with the council what qualifies and don't qualify, and how you handle large item pickup with our grapple truck or whatever means we pick it up.
Okay, so I'll just read it, what it says. If you
Yeah.
have any questions about it, I'll try to answer for you. It says large item pickups is for removal of large items such as appliances, furniture, brush, limbs, leaves, etc. from residential addresses. Residential addresses means a single-family home, no commercial establishments, including multi-apartment buildings, mobile home parks, or rental properties. Residential addresses are eligible for a combined total of 2 trips or loads per calendar year for large item pickups. Additional trips or loads, 3 items 3 times or more, we charge $50 per trip. Please note then that the unimproved or vacant lots are not eligible for large item pickups. Large item pickups is available for residential addresses only. What that's saying is if you own rental property, the rental people have to take care of their own pickups. And we have, in other words, if someone has a rental property and the people leave stuff in the rental house or mobile home or whatever, and they decide to clean that out and bring it out to the edge of the road, we're not responsible for picking that up. Okay. Any large items must be put on the street right away. Automotive parts, tires, batteries, and hazardous waste will not be picked up. We've had to add some stuff to that list, such as TVs and such as that. But, materials or debris resulting from construction, remodeling, or demolition, bricks, concrete, shingles, siding, wood, lumber, roofing, etc., may not be disposed by large item pickup. Leaves must be placed on the street right of way, and it's, we pick those up between October 1st and March 31st. After March 31st, we put the push hogs up and we're roads must be in rolls, not over 6 feet long and 24 inches in diameter. Large stumps will not be picked up. If trees are cut, the logger or the homeowner will be responsible for disposal of brush and logs by other means other than large item pickup. So, Herb, if you go over to your house and cut a big tree down out of your yard, it's your responsibility to get it taken care of. It's not to call the city to come pick it up. Not aiming at it, anybody.
I just
Usually,
paid, I just paid for about 100.
yeah, so, we have a lot of people that call in, tree trimmers and tree removal experts and get the tree down on the ground and bring it to the side of the road and call the city to come pick it up. Well, the tree trimmer's made his money and he saved the homeowner the expense of having to, clean up his mess. So we don't want to do that. And it's a list here of things that we will pick up, and also a list there of things that we don't pick up. Most of that stuff was explained in the previous sentences there. The dumpster down at the shop is open Wednesdays and Fridays from 8 to 4:30, provided that the dumpster don't fill up before 4:30. But he'll be there the entire time unless it gets completely full, and they'll only change those things out for us a couple of times a week, so we have to wait on a new one to come. So as soon as it's full, we can't take any more. Yeah. So right now I've got probably 4 grapple truck loads of scrap metal piled up down there. So we're getting all kinds of refrigerators and stoves and swing sets and you name it, workout machines, all kind of stuff. So we're about to fill up down there and we've just hadn't had the chance to haul it off. So plus it's not bringing about $3 for 100 pounds, and it's hard to drive the truck to Russell and back for that few dollars. So we've kind of been saving.
Eventually you'll have to move it though.
Eventually we're gonna have to move it.
Yeah.
That's right. And we get more and more requests about large item pickups, and people get upset because we try to stay within our guidelines. We didn't make these up. These things were passed when the gravel truck was bought and approved by the mayor and the council at the time.
It can get unreasonable, we've seen
We're
that.
just trying to, we don't wanna ruin our truck by trying to pick up a two-ton stump, and people get upset because they see me over on one side of town picking up brush and something, and they've got a tree in their yard and they wanna know why I can't pick it up. And sometimes you can explain it and they understand it, and sometimes they don't, but, I'm sure when they adopted these guidelines, they had good reason for it, so we're trying to stick to them.
You don't, you'll be in trouble, don't you?
Well,
Mike, we appreciate you kind of covering the large item pickup for us, and that's a big chore for the city, it's a large item pickup.
a lot of those tickets are basically this kind of stuff.
Yeah. And,
They have driveways and brush pickup and all those kind of things.
you know, the truck's got one grapple.
People call me and they'll have like a toaster oven or a little small microwave and wanting me to send somebody. And we do it, but may send a guy out there to get their microwave for them.
Yeah. You've got a place for them to bring it down there,
I've
don't
got a place for them to bring it.
you? Yeah.
I sure do.
Well, it's just kind of human nature for them to want those services and want us to provide them, and we do as
Well, we're
much as
happy
we
to provide
can.
them. But there's things that we can't
Yeah.
You know, that we can't do.
And the truck just is not designed for big tonnage, it,
Well, I mean,
it can't pick
we
up,
don't wanna ruin it trying to pick up something that's way too
Yeah.
heavy. It'll pick up a pretty good load, but,
yeah,
uh,
it's limited.
it is limited,
Yeah.
yes.
All right.
Probably gonna be a long time before we get another one.
Well, thank you for all that explanation, Rodney. We need to get into your matters of concern. If Rodney will come forward and kind of, give us a presentation concerning the sewer items and matters he's been facing and dealing with now for a number of days, and he's conquered some of it, but we've got to keep it conquered, and I'm gonna let Rodney explain his problem and what he wants to do to correct it.
Well, I've actually got two different issues I wanna mention to you. Both of them are currently, I guess you could say, in the works. Neither one of them is, complete at this time, but I'm working on them. The first one is, a sewer line relocating that I would like to do. It involves, it's actually down here on the south side of the hospital, between the hospital and the prison. We've got a sewer line that comes out from the prison, comes out to the main highway, and it has the prison, the hospital, nursing home, the assisted living facility behind the nursing home, and I'm assuming McDonald's on it. There is a line that goes toward McDonald's, and I think it's there on it. And this line comes out to the highway, right there at the intersection, and it comes straight across the highway, down between Belleville and People's Trust Bank. Okay, it goes down to the corner behind Belleville, and it does a 90. Anytime you've got a 90 in sewer, it ain't good. But it does a 90 and goes all the way down in front of Franklin Apartments. And then it goes down to the end of that street and hits the woods. When it hits the woods, it does another 90 and comes right back down the river in a main sewer line by the river. And it comes right back within 800 feet of where it 90'd. So what I would like to do is go in there and where it 90's right there at the corner of Belleville, comes straight out to the river with the sewer line. And that would eliminate 90% of the flow going through that big circle. And that would include possibly 4 manholes to be installed and the sewer line. And that, like I said, it would tie back in with the main line down at the river. And I've had some contractors to come look at it. I was hoping to have a quote by now on what it would cost to do that. Hopefully by the end of the week, I'll have that quote. I was hoping to have it Monday, but I didn't. He didn't get it to me. But he's waiting on some prices of the manholes and stuff to actually come in to actually give me a quote on it.
Are you having a problem with it now, Rodney?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sounds like you would.
Yeah. And like I said, anytime you have a 90 in sewer, it's not good. And it kind of relates to the next thing I want to talk about. We are having a problem in our sewer system with grease coming from, I don't know exactly where, but the problem we're having is causing us some major problems in our system. Causing us to have sanitary sewer overflows. In the last 2 weeks, it's actually cost us a whole lot more than that. We actually had some apartments to get flooded with sewer because of grease. So what I'm working on for that, I have asked Scott Hunt to draft a city ordinance with enough teeth in it that we can go in to any facility that is a food service establishment. We can go in, we can inspect their grease traps, we can inspect their plumbing, we can inspect their data where they've had their grease traps pumped out, because state regulations, state laws say they're supposed to have them pumped out at least every 3 months, and sooner if needed.
So is the health department not already checking this?
I was talked with the health department. I asked him at the health department, I said, is there any way y'all, check on this? And he says, as long as they have their grease traps and have it going into their own fill line, their own septic tanks, he has regulations over. But anytime they're going into the public sewer system, he has no regulation on it. And that's bad at the health department. I talked to Sam Lemaster, but when he was there, he told me exactly the same thing. So they have no regulation on what goes into the city sewer system. I've talked to ADM about this. And ADM, I asked them if they could do any type of enforcement or anything like that. And he talked to his bosses at ADM, and he called me back and he said it's more of a city regulation, being that it is a municipal sewer system. So that's when I go to Scott and say, we need a city ordinance that will take care of this.
Got some teeth in it.
Yeah. And I actually went online and found a model city ordinance, or a model ordinance for, it's called a FOG ordinance. It's foods, oils, and grease. And I printed this model ordinance off and sent it and carried it to Scott. And he is in the process of looking at it, and we can put our own figures in that ordinance as far as regulating. What I would want the ordinance to say is that at any time, any point, we could go in and do an inspection in a facility. And if their information is not up to date, or we know they haven't, their grease traps are running over, we could actually put a fine on whoever it is. And have X amount of dollars for the first violation, X amount of dollars for the second violation, X amount for the third. Whatever, y'all decide to be a number to put on that.
Would it not be easier for them just to send you a report to head off a problem than you just going in and checking it? I mean,
If they would.
well, I mean, if that's, I don't know how Scott's gonna word the ordinance, but I mean, depending on how it's worded, they're gonna have to be notified that there is an ordinance, and if that's a part of the ordinance, that when their grease trap is pumped every 3 months, they have to send in proof. That way you won't be waiting around until there's a problem unless you're gonna go out and check them every 3 months.
We can't get anybody to claim that grease is our huge problem.
You go to one facility and they'll say, you need to go talk to people across the street. We've got a grease trap, we keep it pumped out.
Well,
I
I mean,
don't
they're
know
gonna have to
that.
prove that they
Yeah.
pumped it out.
See, without an ordinance, I have no, or any, we don't have any authority to go in and say, I need to see your documentation. You know, and that's
Well,
all
with this
it is.
ordinance you're talking about, that'll give you that one.
Yes.
That's
It'll
what
give
you,
you-
yeah, that's
it'll-
good, yeah.
It'll give you the authority to go in
Yeah.
and say, I need to see your
Yeah,
documentation
that's-
when you had it pumped.
That's what you need to do. Then you can, like, right now, you can't do anything.
No. I've been to several of them multiple times, and they all tell me, yeah, we've got a grease trap, we keep it pumped out. Well, somebody's not.
How many times, even since I've been mayor, have you and I had this conversation about grease as
Several.
a
This has
problem?
been an ongoing problem for the last 5 years, I know, that we've had grease in our system.
And sometimes,
Things on the system, how many grease, traps you think?
There's several of them in the city, you know, throughout the city.
But that's the only place we've been having trouble down.
Well, that's the major place.
Yeah,
You're not having it at any homes, are you?
No.
Now, that's not what you're speaking of.
No.
You're speaking of business.
it's commercial grease,
Yeah.
there's a lot of it. And, and it'll,
Right down through here, we got about 6, 7 restaurants.
Oh, yeah, and you
Yeah.
know, they're gonna get away with it if they can, and they can.
Yeah, at this point, they can.
Yeah.
They can do what they want to, but.
I'd suggest that you
Are
Go
all the
ahead and-
restaurants on Are all the restaurants on that pipe?
Well, they're on different pipes, I mean, they're different restaurants, locations are on different sewer lines. But, yeah, there's a lot
there's
of,
a lot of them down
and
this
it's
way.
not just restaurant, I mean,
Yeah.
hotels.
Yeah.
we
any-
got A&I, and they cook 3 meals a day for those prisoners, a bunch of them.
and
We don't
this
know if
ordinance
it's
would
coming
be in
from
place for
there, we
any-
don't know where it's coming from.
this
Nobody will
ordinance would be in
claim that
place
grease.
No.
For any food service establishment, anybody that serves food, that's on city sewer would be under this ordinance. Any
You
establishment,
got the nursing home, the hospital.
hospital, nursing home, residence.
It gets so bad that Rodney has to call experts out of Birmingham that deal with resolving grease to unstop our pipes. And they don't come cheap.
Video industrial up here all day.
And when you back sewer up in 6 apartments and put new flooring in cabinets and repair the sheetrock at the bottom, it's not cheap either. We're having to file against our insurance right now to fix 6 damaged apartments because of grease.
And when we got the line unstopped, there's two humps of grease come out about this long. Out of the line.
Well, Rodney, I suggest, for me, we can't do anything. You can, and I would vote for you to do whatever you've got to do to stop it. Or try to get started on, you know what I'm saying?
And like I said, I mean, I've already got Scott looking at the ordinance, and he's hopefully gonna have something pretty soon for us to look at.
When he drafts a copy of that, I'd like for each council person to have a chance to review those and before we bring it to a meeting, make sure they all get a copy.
Rodney, can I ask you a question? In that ordinance, would it have anything in there about, the city being able to go back on that business or whatever that's causing this problem? Cause, and us try to recoup some of our money instead of the burden of all this expense always falling on the city.
Right.
Would
that be in there?
You could word it where, and I can't remember if it was in that model ordinance that I had or not. But you could word it to where, you know, if you definitely know that they're the culprit, you know, you could go back and.
Well, I think that's only fair, cause it's costing us a small fortune.
Go back and put a fine on them, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
They'd have to be fined.
They would be fined on it, but, you know.
Without these
Angela's asking if
inspections-
You could actually come back and make them pay part of the restitution for.
But
getting it
without
fixed or
having
whatever.
authority to do these inspections, we won't be able to pinpoint where this grease is really coming from. We've asked some questions, pretty pointed questions to some businesses, in places, and nobody will admit we've got ours up to par, you know, and it's not our grease, but it may be multiple supplies of grease, or it may be one entity. We don't know at this point, but several times it's cost us money during this administration to unstop and unclog those lines and repair the damage caused by it. And we don't look forward for these spillages. That's illegal also.
Right.
Rodney has to keep a record on every instance where we violate the environmental rules of this. So all of it has got to be put to a stop somehow.
And I've done a lot of research on this. When I started out thinking about this issue, I was not that aware of how a grease trap operated. So I called a consultant in, and I talked to him. He came down and talked to me. He sat in my office for hours free of charge and explained to me how they operate. And I took it even further than that. He said, "I'll be glad to show you how they work." He actually ran a wastewater system, and he was a certified plumber and certified inspector in plumbing. And so, like I said, I talked to him for a long time. He pointed me in the right direction of doing research on it, and I looked at a lot of it online, and actually found a course online to go through. And I took the course, I went through the course, passed the test of the course, and got certified in the food service part of it, in the food service establishments. I mean, that's the certificate I printed off once I made it through the course. And I'm not saying I'm a genius on them, because I'm not, but I know a lot more than I did on how they operate and what to look for when you go in to do an inspection. You can't just walk in and say, well, it's full, you know. But it makes it a lot better to know how they operate and how the plumbing's designed for that particular one, because they make a lot of different ones up. And that's kind of where I'm at on that. I'm just waiting for Scott to get a draft up where we can look at it, see what we can come up with.
Once a business has a grease trap, is there a possibility that over time it would malfunction or wear out?
Yes, and like I said, there's numerous different types of grease traps. You know, a lot of your bigger restaurants have an in-ground grease trap. It's in the concrete part of the parking lot or whatever. A grease trap made out of steel has about a 5 to 8 year life on the grease trap itself. Of course, a concrete grease trap would have more lifespan than a steel would.
Rodney, we'll try to provide you the help you need to get this problem solved. And you may have another item you want to bring to us today.
No, that was the only two.
Okay.
I mean, the rerouting the sewer line down here.
I think that's a good idea, straightening that line and get those 90-degree L's just killing us.
You'll take 90% of the flow off of that big loop. I mean, you'll still have that loop for the apartments and the houses that's on it down through there, but you're gonna take the majority of the flow off of it.
Is the grease problem being exacerbated by those 90 turns?
No, not really. Because the grease problem is in the manholes before you get to that.
Right now, I think you need to do what you think you gotta do about the grease. And if you need to bring it back to this council, I think this council will back you. And we gotta do something about it. And I'm sure we're gonna be out of here some of us before long. And I'm sure the next council will be behind you because that can't keep happening.
Right, I mean, it's
It's
costing
got to
us
be
a lot of
stopped,
money.
yes. I mean, there's no
No
question.
reason.
It's just gotta be stopped. And they're gonna tell you that their grease is not being thrown in there and this, that, and the other.
Right.
You know that.
Rodney, we appreciate the work you do and the efforts you're making to try to correct these problems. I mean, they're not only aggravating problems for your department, they're expensive problems for the city also. I appreciate you trying to correct these and save us those expenditures.
And grease problem's just gonna get worse, aren't they, Rodney, if something's not done, yeah. Something's got to be done about it.
It's about, at least once a year, sometimes about twice a year, I have to call in the video inductor to come actually suck the grease out of those manholes.
As we reopen our city and try to get our shops back open, let's try to be in support of all of our people that's been burdened by having to be closed, and encourage them when you see them. And I don't know exactly when things will look kind of normal again. There's still a lot of sickness. We had another confirmed death in the county overnight, last night, bringing a total of deaths to 8 and that are confirmed from this virus. So let's continue to work forward. Our people have been willing to come back and work and continue on, and every day is a new day, and we don't know yet how long this is going to continue with us, or if there will be another spike in the numbers now that we're more active. We did reactivate our walking nature trail today, and so we think exercise is important. We're limited on places. We haven't opened up any of our group playgrounds or things like this. None of our ball fields are open, but Tim and I talked yesterday, and I told him if he was willing to police the area that he could open the nature trail back up to walk, for people to walk, and a lot of people enjoy that nature trail, and so we're trying to accommodate where we can. We're stumbling in some places, hardly knowing what to do next because of the safety factor, but it's just hard to keep people disconnected from, after a while they get restless and they're gonna dare to get out, and we need to keep them as safe as we can. And I don't have all the answers for this matter. I've got reservations about the safety, but it looks like we're gonna go forward, and there will be some more sick people, but we try to avoid someone with those symptoms if you can, and if you can stay out of large groups and safe distance, I think it's still important. Let's do as much as we can to abide by the rules and expect others to do the same. Appreciate the paper and the 49 News covering us today. Guys, we thank y'all for explaining your positions about your departments, and these are all important things to the city. Going forward, we need good communications with you guys to help us to make better decisions for your departments, and it's a two-way street. We need your feedback, and we'll support you as much as we can on matters at hand. Any of you got anything else you'd want to add today? we'll be adjourned at this point then. Thank y'all for coming.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/49 County News TV.